Well, November is probably the toughest month. I hope November is the toughest month this community will ever have. I hope it never has another month like that.
On the evening of November 7th, about 11:15 p.m., the shooting event at the borderline took place.
Bell went off and we started responding to what we thought was just a random shooting.
I can see a lot of first responders out here, multiple agencies all responding.
What I would describe as the most heinous single act of violence in the history of our county.
Another mass shooting in America has left yet another community stricken with grief.
We lost 12 souls that night, including our friend and colleague, Sergeant Ron Helis.
He was a brave man to come into those shots because it was a scary situation for everyone, it really was.
Sergeant Helis was heroic and ran into that firefight and was able to draw the fire away long enough for us to start some treatment of some people and get them evacuated.
They have command posts set up with ambulances waiting to get into this area once it has been secured.
And as we were in the middle of all that unfolding, about 16 hours later, we had 2 major wildfires break out in our county.
We begin with that breaking news. A state of emergency in California as deadly fires explode across the state.
We came back to the station and got here about 4 o'clock in the morning from the borderline shooting.
And we were stretched really thin emotionally and physically.
And by noon, I was on the Hill Fire, which was burning right out over here.
Ventura County Fire had a huge response last night in Thousand Oaks, helping out law enforcement and offering aid to those who were injured at the Thousand Oaks shooting, and now we're seeing them responding to this brush fire.
They switched gears so quickly from this tragedy and loss of life here to now we're back into brush fire mode, and we have east wind conditions, and we're fighting a fire now.
And all the folks that got sent home from the shooting, all those firefighters, they came right back to work.
Ventura County had a huge response at the Hill Fire and was making good progress in mitigating it.
And then within hours of that fire starting, we had the Woolsey fire start.
And it hit us hard.
Crews are trying to contain 2 separate fires.
Those firefighters are so stretched, they can't even get to fires like this.
When the fire crested that ridge, it was our trigger point to go down and set up for structure protection. Literally, we had 2 to 3 minutes to get down there, and the fire was already on top of us.
And so we were busy trying to put backyards and patio covers and structural components and edifices that are attached to houses or near houses, trying to put those out. Because if we leave them, then they're definitely going to burn the houses down.
A line of fires in Southern California turning homes to cinders, racing across the landscape faster than firefighters can contain them.
And this whole area just erupted in flames all at once. It's almost like hanging a little sparkler over a neighborhood, and you just can't tell where those embers were going to fall.
It was just so unpredictable. All the mulch was on fire. It was like lava running down the streets. It was crazy.
Within a half hour, it's burning through a neighborhood and on to the next.
We evacuated almost 100,000 people in Ventura County.
Tons of firefighters had evacuation orders. You know, we had one firefighter who lost his home in Oak Park.
An engineer working at this station, his house burnt down.
And he came over and he put out the fire out in my palm trees, which basically saved my house. And then my neighbor next door, Dennis, his mulch was on fire. He put that out. Jolynn next door to that, her fence was on fire. He put that out, and then he turned around and his house was on fire.
Well, you know, I work in this neighborhood, and I live here in this neighborhood, and this is the lot that we once lived in and resided in. So our house of 7 years got fully consumed.
Well, we definitely rallied around him.
I can tell you just from my own experience, I'm so blessed, and my wife and I and my son are so blessed with the support that we've received from many different people.
And the type of support that's overwhelmingly kind.
I realize there's wonderful human beings, you know. And so I'm glad to be part of the human race, you know.
There's such uncertainty in the world right now, but the certainty that we have in our communities that we are there for each other.
As a community, we need to keep coming together and showing that, hey, the smoke cleared from the Woolsey fire, we're going to rebuild those homes, but it's going to take a lot of focus to truly heal Thousand Oaks from the borderline shooting.
It's truly remarkable how much support there is, and in a world where we hear about divisiveness and bickering and so forth, I think at the core there's love and support and goodwill for fellow man.